Silent Enemy. After 50. Processed Foods and the Truth You Need to Know by Health Channel. I still remember the morning Uncle Frank realized something was wrong. He'd just turned 52, and like many of us, he valued convenience. Between work, taking care of his grandchildren, and fitting in a round of golf, he relied on quick meals, a cup of instant soup for breakfast, a microwave TV dinner for lunch. One Tuesday morning, he woke up breathless. His heart pounded as if he'd raced a mile in his sleep. Panicked, he called his doctor, who diagnosed a simple culprit: his diet of ultra-processed foods. When you hear processed food, you might picture fresh produce that's been washed, cut, and bagged. But nutrition science draws a sharper line. Processed foods range from minimally altered, like pasteurized milk, to heavily engineered products designed to taste irresistible. The worst offenders are called ultra-processed. Items made from industrial ingredients, oils, fats, sugars, preservatives, emulsifiers, and little to no whole food content. Think packaged snacks, sweetened cereals, chicken nuggets, and most ready-to-heat meals. They're engineered for taste, shelf life, and profit, often at the expense of your health. It's no accident these foods are everywhere. Food companies spend billions finding the perfect bliss point, the level of salt, sugar, and fat that hooks our brains. They promise speed, convenience, and affordability. A frozen lasagna takes 10 minutes. A snack bar fits in your pocket. But for those of us over 50, our bodies become less forgiving. Metabolism slows, blood vessels stiffen, immune defenses weaken. What felt like harmless shortcuts in our 30s and 40s can turn into stealthy health threats after 50. Let's talk about the heart, the engine that keeps us alive. A Harvard study followed 100,000 US adults over 18 years and found that people who got more than half their calories from ultra-processed foods had a 30% higher risk of death, primarily from cardiovascular causes. High sodium in canned soups and frozen entrees raises blood pressure, putting extra strain on your arteries. Trans fats and excess saturated fats in many packaged snacks clog arteries, increasing heart attack and stroke risk. Hidden sugars, even in savory products, promote inflammation, damaging blood vessels. When Uncle Frank's blood pressure hit 160/100, his cardiologist didn't just prescribe meds. She told him to clear out his freezer. That day, he tossed 8 boxes of frozen meals in the trash, a defiant act, and the first step toward reclaiming his heart health. Processed foods are notorious for spiking blood sugar. Think white bread, instant oatmeal packets loaded with sugar and soda. Under 50, your pancreas can keep up, pumping insulin to clear excess sugar. After 50, cells become insulin resistant. They ignore insulin's signal, leading to chronically high blood sugar and eventually type 2 diabetes. Sugar roller coaster. A healthy granola bar sends your sugar soaring, then crashes 2 hours later, so you reach for another snack, repeating the cycle. Visceral fat buildup. Excess sugar converts to belly fat, releasing inflammatory chemicals that worsen insulin resistance. My neighbor Mary noticed her waist expanding, despite no increase in calorie intake. She swapped instant oatmeal for steel-cut oats with fresh berries and dropped her HbA1c, a marker of average blood sugar, from 7.2% to 6.0% in 4 months. Small change, big result. Have you ever felt foggy after a heavy, carb-laden meal? That's no coincidence. Ultra-processed foods increase oxidative stress and inflammation in the brain, impairing memory and cognitive function. A French study of adults over 60 found those who ate the most ultra-processed foods scored 28% lower on memory tests than those who ate the least. Packaged snacks also often contain additives like emulsifiers and artificial colors, which early research suggests can disrupt your gut microbiome, the bacteria in your intestines that communicate with your brain via the gut-brain axis. When your microbiome is thrown off balance, you're more prone to anxiety, depression, and cognitive decline. I'll never forget Aunt Linda misplacing her reading glasses 3 times in one afternoon. It wasn't just age. It was the 15 cans of diet soda she'd polished off in a week. Cutting out those beverages sharpened her memory within 2 months. We all know calcium and vitamin D matter for bone health. But did you know processed foods can leach nutrients and promote inflammation that worsens joint pain and osteoporosis? High dietary acid from refined grains and sugars prompts your body to pull calcium from bones to neutralize acidity. Meanwhile, additives like phosphates in deli meats can bind to calcium, preventing absorption. Over time, bones become brittle, joints swell, and getting up from a chair feels like climbing Everest. Mr. Thompson, 58, once bragged he didn't need any fancy supplements. Yet he was diagnosed with osteopenia after a decade of canned soups and store-bought pastries. Now, homemade bone broth and a daily walk are his new pride. The Sun Project in Spain tracked 10,000 adults and linked ultra-processed food consumption to a 62% increased risk of depression. A US Chinese analysis showed that for every 10% increase in calories from ultra-processed foods, the risk of type 2 diabetes rose by 15%. But numbers only tell part of the story. I spoke with Carla, a 67-year-old retired teacher whose comfort foods were boxed macaroni and cheese and frozen fries. She says, "I felt stuck in a fog, always tired. 3 months after embracing homemade meals, vegetable stews, grilled fish, fresh fruit, she describes feeling like I got my life back." You don't need to overhaul your pantry overnight. Here's how to begin. 1. Audit your stash. Pull every package from your cabinets. If it has more than 5 ingredients or ingredients you can't pronounce, it's a candidate for replacement. 2. 1-for-1 swaps. Instant noodles, zucchini noodles with sautéed veggies, canned fruit in syrup, fresh fruit or fruit packed in its own juice, packaged snack bars, a handful of nuts and a piece of dark chocolate. 3. Batch cook once, eat all week. A big pot of lentil soup or quinoa and veggie salad keeps you from grabbing the nearest quick option. 4. Embrace mild discomfort. Your taste buds will revolt at first. Sugar and salt cravings can last weeks, but they will subside. Whole grains, brown rice, oats, barley, lean proteins, skinless poultry, fish, legumes, healthy fats, olive oil, avocado, nuts, colourful produce. Aim for a rainbow of fruits and vegetables, hydration, filtered water and herbal teas. Ditch diet sodas. Beyond pounds lost or lab numbers, consider this. Homemade meals reconnect you to rituals, chopping vegetables, stirring a pot, sharing a dinner table. They become ceremonies of care you perform for yourself and your loved ones. After 50, our bodies crave nourishment more than ever, and our hearts, both physical and emotional, long for the warmth of meals made with attention and love. Humour helps anchor change. When Uncle Frank first tasted his sister's homemade lasagna, he made a face like he'd bitten into a lemon. "Where's all the salt and fake cheese?" Today he jokes, "I traded my scalpel for a spatula." We all need a little laughter to ease transitions. Here's my invitation. Tomorrow morning, open your fridge and pantry. Pull out one processed item you plan to eat this week and swap it for a real whole food option. Notice how you feel in a week, then a month. Share your experience in the comments below. Your story might inspire someone else over 50 to take that same step. At age 50 plus, you've earned countless badges, parenthood, career peaks, life's ups and downs. But the next adventure, thriving in your body and mind, requires mindful eating. It doesn't demand perfection, only intention. Your body is the wisest investment you'll ever make. Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more heart and home style health stories. See you in the next video.